Yo, welcome back. I'm here with my boy Gus,
Popping in.
popping in. As you know, it's me, it's Dennis. Joshua can't make it tonight, but that's okay. So we here back another week. Hopefully we get this kicked off again, showing Gus the ropes, how everything's done.
Yeah, Fisher Price, my first podcast, but we're gonna do
Just doing our thing.
it.
So, I think today we're just gonna just go off the dome a little bit. So, so we were talking earlier today about like movies that changed us. So I'm gonna kick it off and say like some movies I want to say that I really like growing up that nobody really talks about. I want to say something like Dark City. What do you think about that, Gus? Like, have you seen that?
Definitely one of my favorites, man. I was young cat, and that definitely blew my mind at an early start, young age, man. I mean, um, one of the first times that like that's when you were young, and I was getting like dropped off to movies and shit. You know what I'm saying? Before I could get there, so I remember waiting for my ride and thinking about how the fuck I was gonna explain what I just saw, and that shit wasn't really gonna be easy. But yeah, man, I fucking love that movie. Seek it out. That was definitely what I would consider like a cult classic. I mean, especially like early on, it just had the cult vibe to it. It had a dark feel, kind of like The Crow. In those in that vein of like movies that were coming out around that time that were like I don't know, they just felt like they all were like dark. Everything was rainy, kind of type shit. You know what I'm saying? They weren't afraid to like stick around to that environment and really put that vibe out for like a whole hour and a half movie. Um, so I remember that felt like that. So I was already in with the beginning vibes. But I remember that was another one of those ones that like the trailer didn't really let you know what the fuck you were about to just watch. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like it looked cool, looked interesting, had a cool trailer, but it wasn't. It didn't near tell you what the fuck you were about to just sit and watch. So I don't know, man. I don't know about you. Like that one blew me the fuck away. But
It,
I was not expecting it.
yeah, it definitely did. I wasn't expecting that movie. Um, Talking about trailers and stuff, trailers that you've seen, and just if you could just start thinking now too, like trailers that you feel like definitely did not explain the movie at all, and like you wish the trailer was the movie.
Oh man.
So anything just come off the top of your head that you think about like watching the trailer and just be like, damn, I wish the movie was a trailer.
Yeah, like the trailer was better than the movie.
Yeah.
Oh man, so many. The first one that pops off, like that comes off right off the bat, is definitely Sucker Punch.
I ain't gonna lie, I kind of like that movie.
Okay, I mean, I'll give you that.
I'm probably like one of the only few, but
It.
I didn't know it was a Zack Snyder movie. I ain't gonna lie. Like,
Neither did I. Can I tell you something? So like that's the thing. I catch a lot of shit for talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Because the Snyder fans come out of the woodwork. But I'm not dissing on him because I didn't know it was him. I didn't know. It just didn't. Like I said, it wasn't one of those ones that like I said, I thought what I was gonna see in the trailer, was gonna be a little something different. And then when I saw that I had seen all the good parts in the trailer, um, yeah, I don't know, man.
yeah, I can't believe you pulled that one out. Sucker Punch. Like if you think about like, oh man, have you seen this? Have you seen that? Sucker Punch ain't one that I'm ripping off. Like, hey, have you seen this? That ain't one I'm saying.
It was an obscure one. Okay, that's fair.
And we I mean, both me and Gus are definitely into some obscure movies. One of the things I don't know if you've seen Ex Machina.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I really like that one.
I did too. I did too. That was an awkward watch because the first time I did see that movie, it was on vacation and I was sitting in a living room with my mother. And I'm like, it's one of those things where like I'm not a pervert or anything like that, but I was not responding at all to any of the nudity or any of the anything. Because this is already later on. Like it's not an old movie, right?
No,
Like,
we were in
we're already grown, but like I said, it's still one of those things that like I just have never gotten over that where I'm comfortable watching all sorts of fucking crazy nudity, like because it was the movie that I picked. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want my mom to think that I'm just like that was the reason that I picked it, just because it had a whole bunch of boobies in it. You know what I'm saying? Like even like in my 20s and 30s, I was still like, no, it's not me. I'm not a perv. I promise. I promise, mom.
I remember.
I promise.
Speaking of which, too, I remember one of the first movies I sat down with my dad to watch was Scary Movie 1. And
Like the comedy?
yeah, like I didn't know there was like Miss Man with the balls hanging out.
Yeah, yeah. That's the next level
And
one.
then like when he's talking about like, oh, I got a baby dick. Remember that? Just like I was like maybe 20 at the time when I saw that with my dad. Like I was still
Yeah.
I know he felt some type of way, and I know I did.
And that's great. So you guys weren't really like watching movies like that, like beforehand?
Not like sex movies like that, like
So
or sex jokes. You know what I
yeah,
mean? There was a
yeah.
lot of jokes.
So one of the more awkward fucking things. So a couple years before that, like I said, definitely not trying to one up or anything like that. But seriously, me and my dad was always that dude. Like I was the kid that if you wanted to watch an R-rated movie, you would come to my house. You know what I'm saying? Because my dad was the one that was like putting it on. Like all my friends that couldn't watch like Predator, they were coming over to my house because that shit was on repeat. You know what I'm saying? Anything like that. So I had watched all sorts of questionable fucking movies and seen all, and had these conversations with my dad. So, but I remember one of the crazier ones for me that I can remember, honestly, bro, was fucking Half Baked. When that shit came out, I want to say it was like what, 97, something like that.
Sounds
Half Baked.
yeah.
I'm just trying to put myself in the era, right? So here it is. Now I am smoking weed at this point, right? My dad is has been smoking weed my entire life. I knew that he had been doing that. So Half Baked was one of those weird movies because of the fact that like when I got with my dad, when my dad would pick me up, you know what I'm saying, for like visitation type shit, because he was doing his thing. But when he would pick me up, we would fucking like rent movies and we watch movies. So this was one of those movies that he was like kind of looking at in the Hollywood video, and I was kind of looking at the Hollywood video, but I want to reach for it, you know. And then like he made a comment like, oh, did you see this one? And I was like, I hear it's funny, like trying to kind of playing dumb still kind of, but we both know it's called Half Baked, so we know it's a weed movie. So I don't know, man. It was just one of those things where like he rented it. It was because Hollywood Video. I don't know if you remember, but they would have like 3 for $5, rental deals and shit like that. You
Yeah.
can get, So we would get a couple movies, like a stack, and that was one of them. And I remember he queued it up, and then he disappeared for like, 10 minutes before the movie started. So I was like, damn, I was kind of jealous that I didn't get to get fresh, But since I was hiding smoking, like I had weed in my pocket, I had smoked in the alley by myself, thinking I was covering up with my little. I used to get these fucking. I forget what they're called, man. They're these. They were like these mints, but they were like purple mints that you would get at like, you know what I'm saying? For all intents and purposes, you were chewing ozium. That's what it tasted like. And I don't know, man. I thought I was really covering up my breath with that shit. Turns out I forgot that fingers would be stinky too. But anyway, so my dad knew what I was doing. I thought I was being slick, and so he disappeared. So I was like, "Oh, I'm a little high still, so let's check this movie out." And I remember like being self-conscious of laughing at these jokes because it's like, how much of this humor am I supposed to get? Like, how cool is he gonna be? He knows I smoke, but does he know that I get every single one of these fucking jokes? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much can I let on? So I remember being like kind of self-conscious of it, and then just letting loose because I was looking over at my dad and he was high as fuck and he was just laughing at all this shit. He wasn't looking at me. I think he was just trying to fucking enjoy his movie, and I was over here young, high, and paranoid. You know what I'm saying? High around my dad, and I didn't want him to know. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm looking at him, thinking he's looking at me. He was just enjoying the shit out of the movie. So then they let loose, and I remember that was the first weed movie that we had watched together. And like by the end of it, it was just kind of like understood. Not long after that, we ended up breaking the boundary, and you know what I'm saying?
Smoking together.
Smoking together.
So did you ever tell your dad that story about the Half Baked?
Yes, I swear to God, it ended up coming up in conversation, and he was That's how I found out that I wasn't as slick with the covering up or the smell as I thought I was, because this motherfucker told me. He was like, by the way, you weren't
slick.
fooling nobody. You don't think I was offering you chips for a reason, motherfucker?
Let alone me.
Yeah.
You ain't fooling nobody, let alone me.
Sir Smoke. He was Sir Smoke a lot. I'm sitting there with him trying to act like I was doing something, but no, man. So Half Baked has a special place in my heart because it was definitely a different kind of bonding experience with him and I. You know what I'm saying? And like, going back to the trailer thing, if either of us had like really, I mean, I think I kind of had seen the trailer, but if he would have seen the trailer, I don't think I would have been able to play dumb, and I don't think he would have really suggested it as trying to like, bond with.
Yeah.
He would have steered clear of it because he wasn't that type of dude.
No, definitely. Yeah, talking about like times with your dad. Like I remember what I remember too. We used to go up to Webster Theater.
Oh, I fucking love
People in
Webster.
Chicago know more about that, but it's like pretty much
It
the
looked
theater.
cool as shit too.
It was like the place to be, the theater.
Yeah.
Up to date with everything.
Shouts to Pequods, right across
I
the
don't
street.
like that place.
Then not
we
one-sided shout to Pequods.
we can talk about that too later. But
damn. But sorry to crunch your crust, but fuck Pequods.
Fuck Pequods.
Okay.
I'd rather have Little Caesars.
All right. But at least we agree on Webster. Webster place was dope, man. I love that fucking theater.
Yeah, so I remember my mom, my sister, and my brother went to go see a movie. I honestly like I don't remember what movie they went to go see, but I didn't want to watch it. So my dad was gonna go see Total Recall by himself. So then I was like, Dad, can I go with you because I don't want to see this other movie. So he's like, yeah. So I remember that. So I saw Total Recall.
You watched the triple titty with your dad?
With my dad.
The triple titty?
Yeah.
Damn.
I was a kid too. I was young.
Yeah.
I was a young buck.
Yeah.
I want to say it was like still in grammar school when that came out. But yeah, I remember that vividly. Like that's the movie only me and my dad went to go see.
Damn. That's a hell of a fucking movie, man.
Yeah.
To go see Quay. Bro, that was fucking cool. That was one of those movies that I remember. I can't remember if it was my mom. I think my mom and my dad had split by then, so I think it was just my mom rented the fucking movie. And I remember it was one of those ones where they rented, like for the night, and they were doing like a grown up thing in the living room, the sala. So I wasn't allowed. You know what I'm saying? I had to fucking run around and be in my room. But I would wake up early the next day, and I would go in the living room while everybody was still passed out from, whatever they were doing the night before, hanging out, partying. So I would go and I would watch the movies, whatever the fuck it was, and I would knew that I had like a good solid 2 to 3 hours where no one would tell me shit. Didn't matter what was on. So if it was questionable, that's when I was putting the tape in the deck. Because I knew that the early bird gets the fucking worm, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah, I know. Definitely know what you're talking about there.
And I was feeling squirrely, you know what I'm saying? So I was trying to see all those movies. But I remember the first time I saw Total Recall, I didn't get to see that one in the theater, bro. That was like what, 1990, 91?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because I remember I was still in grammar school when that came out.
Yeah, me and you both, bro. Like, but I was young, I think I'm a couple years younger than you, so not too much difference. But yeah, bro. Like, I remember seeing that one and being like, oh shit, I'm glad no one was around for that. Because, you know what I'm saying? They would have been like, Junior. Because they call me Junior. Because my dad, you know what I'm saying? So my sisters and my mom used to call me Junior. They'd be like, cover your eyes, Junior. So I'd be like, fuck.
That was only that one part. Honestly,
they would have caught me on that one part and they would have flagged me on anything. I had a 0. They were on it. They were like the FCC 2.0 back then. They were strong censorship. Little did they know, that daylight hour when the sun is coming up, the eagles, that's me swooping in for the VHS tapes.
So when, and then when you're like the little feet, the talons going.
Hell yeah. And then like I said, I had to sneak, so I would stop because back in the day you had to rewind them VHS tapes and shit like that. And we had a rewinder. There was like a side piece off to the side, but that motherfucker was loud. When it like would end, it would be like yee, and then like when it would finish, it would be like cack. And I swear to God, for some reason, that shit felt like it could wake the dead. And I'd be like, fuck. So I'd be like watching the reel, bro, and like seeing it was like almost rewound, and I would hit the eject on it, and it would fucking pop it, but it would be quiet for some reason when it did that. It just didn't stop the gear and everything. That was loud. But when I just did it, all of a sudden it would just be the thing, and I would hold it, like so it wouldn't eject all the way up like that. And like it got nice to me. I started being able to look at the reel and see. I would fucking leave it. I would rewind and stop right before the movie started. I would skip all the trailers because I could see how much of the reel was left to rewind. And I would leave. I was like, that's about 10 minutes of trailers. Remember? Because they would have like a shitload of coming attractions.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's besides the point, y'all. Sorry. I was just saying that's how fucking into VHSs I was. I was in the Matrix, goddamn it. I would be able to like stop them.
So this is the chosen one.
No trailers. Hell yeah.
If you want to skip a trailer, just hang out with Gus.
I'll show you 15 different ways.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Crazy the shit that we used to do back in the fucking day. I remember having the two VCRs and renting it from Blockbuster and recording that shit.
Ooh. And then having to put tape over certain tapes when the tab was already broke off.
Hey, I remember doing that too. I remember growing up too, like recording songs off the radio, and you used to use the tapes and the tab was broken off. Hell yeah. I remember my friend told me like, "Oh, just use toilet paper."
Damn.
And that shit worked.
I'm not sure I ever TP'd my setup like that, but
yeah, no, toilet paper in there.
That's next level, bro. And it worked.
It worked.
Custom. Hey, if you ever need some TP, some shit TP, I need you to holler at Dennis. He goes way back doing this shit.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, I need
on cassette. He was doing this shit.
I need to record shit. Oh no, I remember back in the day. I remember my boy. He let me borrow the Addams Family soundtrack because I was really
MC
into
Hammer.
MC Hammer, but and I don't know. You definitely would know more about this than I do. Whatever was written on the tape, like side A, and it showed all the tracks. It was on the other side, and then side B was really side A, like it was reversed.
Oh,
so when I grew up, somebody said the reason why they were like that because those tapes were the bootleg tapes that you buy from like Jewtown and stuff like that.
Why would they be reversed?
Because they were bootleg. I don't know why they were reversed, but they were. I was like, nah. Now
like,
see, like I figured.
Is that the way that they got around copyright back in the day? Like, look, clearly it's not the song that's labeled, so.
Yeah, he had he was poor, so I wouldn't be surprised. Borrowed tapes from him.
So you thought songs had different titles than they did?
No, I was
because of the fucking Adam shit.
Nah, I knew it was backwards. I'm like, this ain't right.
This ain't right. Something's not right. I was trying to think about it, and I'm like, man,
that never happened to you.
No, brother, I gotta tell you, man. Like, so here's the thing.
Gus buys his tapes legit.
Yeah, I was. Your boy was at that singles section at the Sam Goody or the Coconuts. Remember?
Was it Just Dance across the street from Lane?
Ooh, all right, that's next level.
That's deep cut right there.
Yes, Just Dance was a fucking. Oh my god, I used to love Just Dance. So Just Dance was before Jumpin' Music even opened. You remember Jumpin' Music? But Just Dance was there before. And I remember oh my god, I got like, a couple different volumes of straight up gangsta shit from Just Dance.
So for those of you who don't know, especially you young cats out there, so Just Dance, Jumpin' Music was what we would call like the DJ stores.
Like a store.
Gramophone. I don't know if you remember them.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Gramophone.
Like that's where, pretty much like if you were a DJ, that's where you shop to pick up your tracks.
But what was cool about Just Dance to me, like it felt like Just Dance and Jumpin' Music in particular were like owned by DJs. Whereas Gramophone was a major spot, and that's where the DJs went to go buy their shit. So you would be bumping into. I bumped into so many DJs at Gramophone, like legit Chicago DJs. I met Green Velvet at fucking Gramophone. Just bumped into, you know what I'm saying? Nobody, or Cashmere, you might know him as Cashmere, Percolator. You know what I'm saying? But bumped into him at Gramophone like that. But Just Dance was just laid out. It felt like, that mixtape shop in like the kiosk in a mall, but just like a store of it.
Yeah.
Like a smaller version of a store. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It wasn't a big storefront, but it's big enough, man. And they were wearing music in that motherfucker, and they would have mixes, like all from everybody that you would hear on the radio. Julian Jumper Perez.
Bad Boy Bill, how was it? Hot Mix Volume.
Bang in the Box.
Banging.
Bad Boy Bills was Bang in the Box. And then Hot Mixes were before Bang in the Boxes, definitely. And there was like, I don't even know how many volumes of Hot Mix.
Man. I remember like too. I used to borrow like techno tapes from my one friend, and like just all this stuff and like all the little like. Well, to me, I was like super big into techno, but because to me, like when they would like mix, like they would throw the Street song in there. I don't remember that, and then they would throw Tetris in there,
They
fucking
had
Jeopardy.
yeah,
They would like play songs that
it's because of sampling,
like
bro.
you wouldn't even know like man, you just throw Jeopardy, blah boop. Doo
Yeah,
doo doo doo. They even had honestly they had the Addams Family theme too.
yeah. That Speed Racer track.
Mm-hmm. I
that
remember
was that
that.
was X rated.
Hey,
That would make everybody uncomfortable.
I had the Racer X track.
Okay.
I was like, what? A Racer X? Like that. I used to go digging in the crates. You know, I mean they were tapes, but that's what I would call it. Dig like for stuff that like
Yeah.
nobody knew. Like I
I'd be
wanted
staying
to
up
be the
late
cat.
trying to record all those too. Remember when they would be having them up like at night when they would play like
Mm-hmm.
11 o'clock on Fridays?
Tin Spin and Shomer.
Man, all of any of them. And then for a while, Q101 became a really good spot for that. For the shit called Sonic Boom. Did you ever listen to that shit?
No,
on
honestly,
Q101?
no. I was a B96 guy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
so I follow. Like I said, I follow the music, and there's this guy named Lego. You ever heard of him?
no.
DJ, DJ Lego, but Lego. He went by the name, and there was a couple other dudes that would be spinning on Q101, and they were so fucking good, bro. And like I said, and it'd be straight up like it'd be techno and tech house, and like it'd be shit that I would be fucking into, and I'd be like, wow, this is on Q101, but it was called Sonic Boom, and it would come on all the time. I don't know if anybody could vouch for me on that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe give me a shout out, back me up a little bit, give Q101 some actual street cred. But I like them from other shit too. But they actually used to play legit techno on the weekends, man, and it was fucking killer. And believe it or not, that's how I came across like some other kind of subgenres, like even drum and bass, like from techno and shit like that. You know. So like I said, B96 from there. Sometimes it wasn't enough, you know. I just needed to know where it was at. And Sonic Boom was on Sundays, and I remember B96 didn't have anything on Sunday night.
They had the sex show. I don't remember that with Karen Han.
Oh my God! You just unlocked.
I like core memory right there. Remember that?
Yeah.
Sunday night was the little sex talk that they had.
And I was young enough to it bored me. It bored me. Like I didn't want to listen to it. And then I started spicing up because I started paying attention to what the fuck was going on. They would talk about some raunchy little situations on Karen Han.
Yeah, man. I was like, man, I remember that. I was like, that's crazy. I don't remember the doctor's name. Sorry, man. I just remember Karen Han because she was out with Eddie and Jobo too, but in the mornings.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like that was the thing too, is that like that voice was so unique.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like she came out of nowhere. It's like, is that somebody's mama? On the radio, she would tell the news, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Eddie and Jobo. Definitely grew up on them.
That's definitely a Chicago name, so.
Eddie and Jobo.
You in Chicago.
I was raised on them cats. I don't know why. They had shit on lock for the longest time. I can't even imagine what it would have been like to be them at that time. You know what I'm saying, bro? Because think about it. They had billboards with their fucking faces, their bodies.
Yeah.
Like for radio hosts. Who the fuck does that?
Yeah, I mean, I remember too, like, remember when they got fired, they said, like, because Jobo was, like, all high on coke and everything like that, too. And
I hate when that happens.
Got the fame got you.
It's ended many a job from what I hear. But like I said, I remember for the longest time that was like a rumor to me. I didn't know if that was confirmed true or not.
He said it.
And then I was about to say, I actually ended up hearing him say it, but it wasn't until years later. So I was like, not Jobo, not my Jobo. No way.
I just can't imagine. Imagine just being like a radio DJ and you just slaying pussy.
They were.
Like, you know what I mean? You just Chicago famous. I'm not trying to knock what he did. Like, don't get me wrong. Well, I would definitely love to be a radio DJ. You know, like I feel like that's
especially in this town because there were some tragas at the time.
I just feel like just being out there, just also that's why I definitely want to kick this podcast going. Just it's really pretty much just radio DJ.
I mean,
talk radio right now.
I ain't gonna be doing all the shit that Jobo did. I ain't signing up for that. I didn't know that's what this was.
2 weeks later.
Woo! No,
He
homie.
brushing his teeth.
If it took me this many years to fucking not be like that, it ain't happening now.
What's that? What they call that lockjaw where you go like that?
And a whole bunch of people always dripping. Hey, why you dripping in my face, bro? You standing over there. I used to tell people, why you dripping in my face, bro?
Your gums itchy?
There's too many fucking indicators, bro.
Man, how much time too? Like you think about that, like when you were a shorty, like all those indicators were right there in your face, and you didn't even know it.
Oh man. So again, I'm gonna hit you with another thing. Not trying to sound cool or anything like that, but my dad was a motherfucking drummer. So you're right. Like, so for the longest time, like I thought that my dad, because my dad was a crazy dude too, right? You're gonna find out. He's a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? I really can't wait until you meet him. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a cool deal. But he always hung around with these fucking crazy characters, bro. Right? So they would be bringing him around when I was a fucking kid growing up. So like I literally thought that's how everybody was supposed to act. And I didn't realize a lot of times that my dad was acting a goddamn fool when we were out of places. You know what I'm saying? Or he was being extra. We were doing something, turning up. And like, I'm like, why is my mom, I used to think my mom was like embarrassed of him more of like oh God, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh guys,
Like,
you know what I'm
calm
saying?
down.
Like, calm down, you know what I'm saying? But no, she was actually like, oh shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because my dad was high. I didn't realize that all these people were like on cocaine, you know. So then when my dad, like, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, you grow up and you start having conversations. And then my dad's like, oh, well, you know about such and such. And I'm like, yeah, and, he was this. I'm like, telling you, yeah, he was always this. This guy used to sell coke like crazy. And I'm like, Uncle Fred? Like people that were like, we used to call, like, yeah, and he was a big time fucking, mover. And I'm like, wow, like, that's what you guys were doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't realize. So then it kind of fucked me up for a while because I was like, people don't act like this. So what's normal? Like, I don't get it because I hadn't been around it. I didn't know. So I had seen a lot of people on drugs. So then after that, I just assumed everybody was on drugs. So I started seeing it everywhere. My teachers. I started catching on to shit that nobody was catching on to because, like, my dad made me like hyper paranoid. Like, cause I'm like, oh, all these niggas are high. So I'm looking at my PE teacher, and now that nigga's gums are itchy. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing shit, and he can't stand still. He's fucking over here pitching, underhanded, little pitches, with like a tennis ball. Because like I said, this is CPS, Chicago Public Schools, so we weren't allowed to have like real shit. So it was like a fucking stupid plastic bat and tennis balls, and we were out there, dunk, knocking, hitting these fucking things. But he'd be standing there and he'd be pitching, and he couldn't stand still. And I'm like, fuck, Mr. Harrington, what's going on with you, bro? Like this thing, turns out. And I'm looking at him, and then, well, like I said, once my bubble had been busted, and I realized that every adult around me was high all the time, I'm like, damn, this is crazy.
That's crazy.
I had to, like I said, it kind of like
let
me see the world.
It's a whole new world, like Jasmine said.
But, never been molested. This culo has been safe because I've already been seeing the devil and the evil in people's eyes.
The evil ways.
Yeah. I could tell when people were trying to get something else. I was like, I was raised around bars. I was raised around musicians and bands and shit. I know a con. I can smell it. Somebody wants to touch my culo. You can't do it. You can't have it. Pause.
No. It's an X for me.
For real. We were alert kids. Would you say the same for you?
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Would you say it was because of the movies we watched?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I want to say, like, my parents always protected me, but like my mom worked 2 jobs.
I was kind of latchkey,
and she wasn't home, and
yeah,
so
neither
outside.
was mine. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I was always too, like, I never got myself in any situation because I was a kid that I was always scared to get in trouble. I wanted to do bad things, but I didn't want to get caught. And the fear of getting caught honestly kept me on that straight edge. I think that's why, like, I never really smoked weed as a kid or anything like that. I didn't start drinking until I was 20 when I started drinking. So
The problem with me, I think, I never equated that as being wrong.
I can get that
That's
because
why I started smoking weed at 11. You know what I'm saying? It's like I never acquainted, like I never attached the two things as being like, this is wrong. This is something that people do. Like I had just seen
and
people do it.
I'm just be honest with you, like I was pretty like I didn't really see like weed drugs until I went to high school. Like in grammar school, it wasn't there. Like I'm just being honest, like it wasn't. And I don't know if it was just the school we went to or what, but
My parents, my mom definitely, bro. I will tell you this right now, and I think that's why my mom ultimately left my dad is because he was irresponsible in certain ways. So I don't think they probably even know, but like at a young age I knew what the fuck a bong was, and I knew it was fucking filled with nasty fucking water because my dad had one of these old it was like an 80s bong for real, bro. So it had like this like wooden like little tip, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what the fuck it was. It looked like a straw to me. So I walked up to it instead of blowing in or like instead of like pulling in like that. I like I did something and the water came up and I'm like, oh, what the fuck is that? So then I was like, they can't be drinking that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not even lick. Like I was just like, ah. So then I remember I told my dad, he had woke up because like I said, he worked at like my dad was a drummer, so he worked the night shift. He would come in at 4 or 5 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So and sometimes he would come in with people, whatever. So anyway, like I said, I fucking that shit happened to me. So then I fucking told my dad, and then my dad was like, "What? You did what? Did you drink it?" And he was like, all like worried all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? Never saw that fucking thing again. I don't know what he did, whether he fucking threw it out, broke it, or whatever the fuck. But that shit was gone. Never saw it again. It was the first time I had ever seen it, and I think, like I said, it should have got carried over. He didn't think that I would wake up and go into the sala like that. But I told you,
early bird,
yeah. Early bird. I
early
used to
bird.
sleep in and Snoop, you know what I'm saying? And no bullshit, man. I told him about that and he was like, "Did you drink it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You drank it? You swallowed it?" And I go, "No." And he goes, "Okay." And then I remember him being like stressed out and he was like, "Wait, you drank it or you didn't?" And I was like, "No, it touched my mouth. It was nasty and I spit it out." You know? And he was like, he's like, you gotta rinse your mouth. He's like, come on, so we're going through it.
It's like 4 hours later.
Yeah, bro. Like I didn't get high at all off a sip of bong water, but like my dad was. It seemed like he was genuinely fucking concerned, bro. So like I said, I knew what all that shit was. My dad was just like, that's bad. You don't touch that. That's for grown-ups. And I'm like, oh, okay, like But at the time, I was so young. It was just like the same thing. It's like, okay, liquor tastes like shit. That's for adults. That tastes like shit. I didn't ask what it was, but now I know it was a fucking bong. I took a sip of bong water. You know what I'm saying? First time that happens to you when you're a young cat and somebody's like, "Oh yeah, get high, drink the bong water." You ever do that shit when you were?
No.
Man, yeah. Little motherfuckers used to be like, "You get high when you drink the bong water."
Go ahead, drink it.
And it turns out I was being pranked. I think you know what I'm saying. So anyway, when I tasted that, I'm like, so that's what that was on the table.
Yeah, crazy ass memories, man.
Like I said, just for the love of being in the sala for the VHSs. That was the only place I could get to my TV, my VHS. I didn't care about any of that shit. I didn't go there to look at the bong. I just wanted to watch Care Bears, nigga.
Care Bear movie with the Care Bear cousins.
I remember that shit was heavily requested by me. VHS rental. The Care Bear movie.
Care Bear.
I was young enough to actually fuck with that.
I remember that we had that.
Were you a little older or?
I was a little older, but yeah, I remember we used to watch that all the time.
You still did the stare?
We used to do the.
The
I used to love.
stare?
What was it, Lionheart?
That was the best one because it was the only one that looked like a lion instead of a bear.
And then, Tenderheart and Grumpy.
Which one was the elephant? Remember there was an elephant?
Those were the cousins. The actual animals were the cousins.
That was from the movie.
From the movie, yeah. That's where they came from. And they didn't have nothing on their bellies until the Care Bears, they shared their power. Care Bear cousins?
Hey, we weren't supposed to know that they were rubbing bellies with their cousins. And that's how that shit happened. When two cousins love each other, perhaps inappropriately.
Speaking of kids movies, I was going down this Facebook trend about like movies, like kids movies that scarred you. One of them was like Last Unicorn. Honestly, I don't remember that movie at all. I'm pretty sure we watched it because it was a cartoon. But Secret and Nim fucked me up.
I was gonna say they couldn't hold a candle to that.
That
Secret of Nim.
that owl scene used to scare the hell fuck out of me,
Yeah,
man.
Secret of Nim was sad.
The thing is, like, you don't even realize what that story is about until you're like older.
Yeah.
Like they needed to find a home or something. From what I remember we had to read the book in sixth grade.
Yeah, yeah. It ended up being something that you would read, and I had already seen the fucking movie. I was already
Yeah.
familiar. Um, yeah, bro. I don't know. That shit definitely put me on a tizzy. Those were movies that like I didn't watch very many times. Like All Dogs Go to Heaven. Nope.
Nope.
One and done. Nope. You ain't get me again. Nope.
Land Before Time.
Oh, I don't know what was wrong with me. Why did I like punishing myself? I love that movie, so I watched it all the time. But god damn, that was sad, bro. Ah, Land Before Time. You just brought shit up right now, and I'm like, damn, Joe. Do you remember all their names?
Land Before Time. Was it Flat? Was it Flatfoot?
Littlefoot.
Littlefoot. That's all I know.
You don't remember Ducky?
Ducky. Okay, yeah.
Sarah?
Why Sarah only got the normal name?
Sarah the Triceratops? Sarah.
So they got Littlefoot, Dougie, and then Sarah.
Sarah. Willie. I get what you're saying. I never put that together as a kid. I thought it was like a cute little play on Triceratops.
Oh man, I didn't think about that until you just said it.
Are you serious?
Serious?
Today? First time?
Yeah, first time.
Ow!
Today 8 years old.
Ow! Yeah, I kind of thought that's what it was. Sarah, Triceratops. I was like, okay, cool, Sarah. But in my mind, I was picturing it spelled differently too. And now you're like Sarah, and I'm like, damn. So like, I was thinking that it's like a plain ass name now. when you were doing it, like I was like, it's not. It wasn't spelled Cera in the credits. If you look at the voice, it's Sara, right?
Yeah. Can't make it up, man.
Different perspectives on Land Before Time. I don't know, man. That movie still fucks me up. That movie, and then like I said, if we're getting back into the live action ones, I gotta say, probably one of the more sadder ones with the sequences. Never Ending Story.
Definitely.
Anything worse than that?
Nah, that was honestly. I'll be honest. Like I know it was like traumatic, but I was more scared of the fucking wolf than I was of the horse dive.
Oh, of the Nothing.
Yeah, the Nothing.
Well,
he wasn't the Nothing though. He was like an acolyte. No.
Yeah, I guess what you're. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It wasn't the actual Nothing. He was like a fucking just a creature in the fucking like represented the coming or nothing. I didn't think that deeply of it as a kid. I was still traumatized. By Artax.
No, honestly, like I was like, all right, this is where the fucking horse dies. Cool. A lot of people say like it hit hard. Like I play along with it because I want to be in a cool kids club. But I was more scared of when he was looking at the pictures, be like, here's the one with me and Artex. Here's the one with me and the snail. And then the wolf was just like, I was like, oh, he's coming.
Yeah, right. Fangs all fucking gnarly and shit. Yeah. Yeah, that was some next level shit.
That part scared me. And then when the faces lift up and the eyes shot out when he had to pass the trials, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Like that part scared me. Those were the two parts that scared me as a kid.
I thought that was cool.
But man, you know what used to scare me? I used to close my eyes all the time. And they were like, man, you just got to watch it once. And then as soon as you see it, like you won't never get scared again. But I was scared of being scared was Large Marge.
Bro,
they're like you just gotta watch it once, and then
we're complete opposites, man.
As soon as you see it, like you won't be scared anymore. And I was like, no, I can't. I don't want to see it.
No. Oh, bro,
I used to remember exactly when it came on. Right when you see like the little cartoon eyes in the dark, I'm like, yep, it's coming.
Yeah, bro. Oh my god. So the first time that happened to me, first time I saw the movie, definitely was home video. I didn't see that in the movies. I didn't get to see that one in the movies. Definitely at the crib, right? One of my dad's rentals. I peeped it out and I was like, oh shit. And then the first time Large March came out, I remember scared the shit out of me. It was cool in a cool way though. I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, what was that? And then like I was like telling my dad, I was like, is she gonna come out again? And my dad's like, watch the movie. I don't know. He didn't never fucking seen the movie. You know what I'm saying? But I'm asking him, like, is she gonna come out again? And then he's like, I don't know. And I can't remember if I was asking more out of like, was I afraid trying to be prepared for it, or did I want to see her again? You know what I'm saying? I can't remember tell. Maybe it's a little bit of both. But I will tell you that like after that, I would be that little motherfucker that was like trying to get close to the TV when Large Marge was coming up. I wanted to see it. They would never let me pause shit either.
It was honestly it was for a quick second.
Did your family used to think that the pause would fuck up the VCR?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine too. They used to tell me that you can't be pausing this shit like that or leave it paused for too long because you'll fuck up the tape and the VCR. I'm like, oh.
I think I might actually. That might be true for the tape. I don't know about the VCR. I can see where the tape getting fucked up.
Yeah, but
because tapes were like, you couldn't watch them too much because then they say they stretch and they get bad too.
They will wear out. Yeah, they will wear out. But I'm like, I always assumed. I'm no VCR technician, right? But I always assumed that like the tapes would get stretched from the uncalibrated, like you're putting it in different VCRs and they got different rewind speeds. Like I was getting next level on this shit. I was thinking like why it happens, you know? So I was like, I used to really like only want to play like my tapes on my VCR because I was convinced that like if I took them to different places, then that's how it got fucked up.
Remember with VCRs when talk about like all the 4-head and 2-head or whatever, and you're supposed to clean those heads out. Ain't nobody do that shit.
You know what?
You know everybody got the cheaper one.
Oh yeah. the only time that we ever did was the tape that you would rewind. You would put the little liquid in the dot. You remember that? There would be like 2 holes on the VCR or the VHS. So you have the VHS, remember? And there was like one little liquid hole up there and one little liquid hole over here. You would put them 3 drops in each. Did you ever do it?
We never did it, but I know what you're talking about. It was the cleaner.
That was the only one we did. I remember there was another more extensive way to do it. We never did that. But my dad was one of those dudes, man. He would spend for his little shit. He would keep like good needles for his records. También, you know what I'm saying? He would keep good needles, keep the shit clean. Like we had a record brush. Who the fuck had a record brush back in the day? Right?
Now you just play it.
Amen. Hey. He took it up. There you go. It's brushed. You know what I'm saying? But no, my dad had like a felt, like a thing that wouldn't scratch it. And, you know, he would put it on first. And when I put a needle on, he would clean it off first. And he's like, this is how you don't fuck up your needles. You clean your record first. You fucking do this. And I'm like, okay. So then my dad used to wash the VCR. Like I imagine he used to wash his dick with like a random bitch. You know what I'm saying? Because like we would rent a movie and then after it he would clean the VCR like it was some dirty ass fucking shit. I had been in somebody's crib. Hey, this is a used movie, so we gotta.
I don't need your VHS herpes.
Yeah. Hey, bro. Maybe we didn't know about that shit. My dad was next level. I don't know, but it was funny. I remember he wouldn't do it when we watch our shit, but for some reason we watch, you know, a rented movie, and then we would watch we would watch all the rented movies, and then when it was done, he would throw in that fucking thing for a rewind cycle.
Like, hey, you've been out in the streets.
I don't know where you've been. I don't know what kind of fucking cribs you've been in. But that's fucking funny. I just thought about that. This is the first time I ever put together how fucking weird that was that my dad would do that. I'm like, come on, man.
I'm gonna ask him when I see him. Be like, hey, you wash out your DVD player when you borrow them from other people still, like you did the tapes.
He's probably not gonna know what you're talking about, and then when I refresh his memory, because I don't even think he thought it was odd behavior.
He'll be like, what?
What'd you think? We're gonna get see that? We're gonna get see that from the VCR?
That's how tapes turn to beta.
For real, bro. I don't know. I don't know what his thought process was, bro. For real, but he was heavy on that. So, like I said, we had that. But I remember there was another way that you could take the fucking lid off.
Yeah.
And, like, she rub them with, like, you do the whole brush and shit like that. And my dad was like, "That's too much. We're not gonna do that."
I just remembered like forehead VCR. That was like a big deal.
Yeah, I still don't know why.
It's got to be quality,
Here's the
picture
thing.
quality.
I remember. So
But like your TV, if your TV was shit, it didn't matter anyway.
that's what I was gonna say. Like, what the fuck are we doing? HD anyway. Like, goddamn it, RCA made this shit 10 years ago. We're still rocking this TV, right? So what the fuck are we doing?
I ain't even got a clicker. I got the fucking dial and the fucking stand.
Yeah.
And then when that broke, that was just our TV stand. We
Yeah.
put a TV on
The
top
TV
of that.
on a TV? Hell yeah. Don't pay attention to the screen below.
I never had the pliers. I know when people say like I've been over a friend's house where they had the pliers to change the channel.
So we had the pliers for like 2 days because back in the day, like I said, back in the day, I don't know why, but we had a color TV in the sala, and that was like with the setup with, like, VCR and speakers and the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? That was definitely the entertainment room, right? But in the kitchen, for the longest time, we had like this black and white TV that was just there. And I remember I used to hate watching cartoons on this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it was black and white. So, but I remember that was like the one. And then when we got a color TV for that kitchen like that, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, the price and the technology came down on the smaller TV because it was still a kitchen. We weren't gonna have a big fucking TV in there. So they got one, and I got the black and white one in my room. It was the first time I ever had a TV in my room. So I was like, oh shit, okay, cool. Second day I had the motherfucker, I broke the knob. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. Wilding out as a fucking kid. I don't know. I broke the fucking knob. So we had to. My dad had the locking pliers, and he had them on there, and he goes, because you only had to go from. I only had to go from like a couple different. We had what fucking handful of stations.
Yeah, bro? Especially like back then, like you couldn't try to get channel 2. You couldn't have it. You only getting UHF channels.
Facts, bro. And I remember that as a fucking kid. I remember channel 50.
Or 66 back then.
Ooh, 26. Before the 66 was the Spanish.
And
44 Univision. Univision, bro.
Man, I remember talking about that channel 44. I remember growing up, right? Like my great grandmother used to watch us, and my great grandfather, and they only had that one channel, channel 44, and that's all they would watch. They watched the novellas and everything. I was like, man. My great grandfather watching soap operas. He imagine if he was alive today. You put on a movie and dub it in Spanish.
For real, bro.
He don't have to be watching in soap opera. I felt so bad. But that's all he had,
bro. And they made with it. They didn't complain.
He just watched it.
They didn't complain. They never changed the channel. I remember like they would. That's another thing too. My grandparents would make me think that like changing the channel would break the TV. They'd be like, "Lo vas a quebrar," because I'm up there changing the channel because they had, I definitely didn't have remote.
No.
Until later. Like 90s.
You were fancy if you had a remote.
Yeah, legit. And not the big boxy one either. Remember when they got thin for the first time? It was like in the 90s. It was like, ooh la la. Still big ass tecla, still big ass buttons, but fucking, I remember they were thick. Because remember, the original remotes were like big ass bulky, and they were like switches, like on, off, like toggles. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you remember, bro? Fucking...
I remember they were connected. Some of them were connected to the TV.
Man, and the Velcro, the Velcro piece on the side. You remember it? And it had a cordon. Oh my god, you just brought back memories, man. Going back to one of my abuelitas. You know what I'm saying? Like, peoples back in the day, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll put the TV on for you," and they pull out the goddamn the remote. So it's like, and they're standing there tuning it in for me, and then they put it back on. And they're like, "All right, now don't touch it," because I was looking at it. They saw me as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna play walkie talkies with that. So hard. Old TVs, bro. I fucking love that shit.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, but like I said, so I got I digress. Like I said, I broke the handle. I had the fucking thing for a while, and then my dad rigged up this fucking. I don't know. It was really cool. He did like paper mache on the inside of the fucking thing, because the way I broke it, he like put it in there and it was wet, and he just put it on there and he goes, "All right, now leave it, don't touch it," And I couldn't fucking touch the shit for like a day, and then when it dried, it was like stuck on there, and the shit worked again, bro.
Wow.
Up until I fucking scrapped it. You know what I'm saying? Until it was gone.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But man, good talk. Nice hanging with you, Gus.
Oh yeah, brother.
Thanks. Hey, till next time. Hopefully we get Josh up on here,
Oh, we need to.
and then we all have discussions. Just have that sit back and relax and laugh.
Oh yeah.
So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm trying to do this a little bit more often. You know what I mean? All right. So once again, I'm Dennis. This is Gus.
Big Gus D.
All right, man. Catch y'all later.